Hello everyone, welcome to JS Crook Info. In this video we are going to talk about England vs New Zealand Test match review. Before I start this video I would like to make a request to all friends. If you are watching my channel without subscribe, please give your valuable support to my channel. It will give more energy as a creator. I can make more videos. Let's start the video. New Zealand became only the fourth team in history to win a test after following on, and the second to win by a one-run margin, as they wrestled the game away from England on a dramatic final day in Wellington. Wagner was the catalyst with the short ball assault during the afternoon session, and he capped the comeback by taking the final wicket amid rising tension at Basin Reserve. Wagner finished with 4 for 62 as the home side battled back after a century stand between Joe Root and Ben Stokes to inflict England's first defeat in 7 tests and ensure a drawn series. 4 wickets fell during a chaotic first hour on Tuesday, but Root produced an assured response and the game appeared to be slipping away from New Zealand when Wagner was called back into the attack. He had immediate success in targeting the limping Stokes, who had been struggling with his long-standing knee issue, and when Root asked miscued a pull in his next over, to depart for 95, the pendulum had swung again. The bouncer ploy also saw off Stuart Broad, who ramped Matt Henry to deep third, but Ben Foulkes played unflappably in the company of Jack Leach, who knows a bit about fourth innings heroics with the bat, to whittle the requirement down to single figures. Foulkes then fell hooking at Tim Southee, although James Anderson struck Wagner for 4 to take England to within 2 runs of victory, he was caught down the leg side to spark jubilant celebrations among the New Zealanders. England, who declared their first innings 8 down and then made New Zealand follow on 226 runs behind, were ultimately victims of their own positive intent, at no point looking to make the game safe despite sitting on a 1-0 series lead. But New Zealand were deserving winners after dredging a response with the bat, led by Kane Williamson's 100 in the 3rd innings, and then finding a way to take 10 wickets, 9 of them on the 5th day, on a surface that had few demons. There was more than a measure of revenge for the original victims of baseball, after New Zealand were swept aside in 3 consecutive chases during the English summer. Victory in Wellington not only preserved an unbeaten record at home stretching back to 2016-17, but it meant they became the first team in 7 attempts to thwart Stokes' team in the 4th innings. The result was secured in front of a healthy crowd, taking advantage of free entry on the final day, as the Basin Reserve joined a select group of tests that needs little further elaboration: Calcutta 2001, Headingley 1981 and Sydney 1884. Stokes said afterwards that he would do the same again. In terms of looking back and making my decision around the follow-on, no, I don't regret it. Other teams are allowed to play better than us, and New Zealand have played better than us this week. England came into the final day needing 210 runs with 9 wickets standing, and would have been viewed as favourites given their recent proficiency in such situations. They were in trouble at 80 for 5, with Root culpable in the run-out of Harry Brook before he had faced the ball, but were seemingly on course for victory after a 121-run stand between the current captain and his predecessor. Enter Wagner, whose bumper-to-bumper method had been taken apart so comprehensively in the first test at Mount Maunganui. On this occasion it bore fruit straight away. Stokes had been visibly hampered by injury and opted to try and hit his way out of trouble, but his top-edged pull, with the bottom hand coming off the bat, was safely by Tom Latham taken at square leg. England at this stage were precariously placed, still 57 from their target, and they had knocked one off that when Root holed out 5 runs shy of his second 100 in the match. Foulkes nearly fell in the same manner, Michael Bracewell misjudging the flight of the ball at that mid-wicket, but with T pushed back Southee returned to and a 36-run stand for the 9th wicket, and it was fitting that Wagner was the man to seal a nail-biting win in the 10th over of his game-turning spell. Both teams had seen their fortunes ebb and flow in the test, and that continued on day 5 with New Zealand dripping out 4 wickets early on. But Root attacked Bracewell's off-spin on the way to a run at ball 50, while Stokes, playing an uncharacteristically defensive hand, gritted his teeth through the probings of Henry, as well as the discomfort caused by his knee, to resurrect England's fortunes either side of the lunch break. With Bracewell under pressure, the home side's cause was further dented when Henry was forced to leave the field with back soreness, although he was able to return and bowled a key spell that helped put the brakes on Root's innings and almost saw off Stokes, with Daryl Mitchell unable to cling on to a flying chance at slip. New Zealand needed to start well, and the first hour could barely have gone better for them. England lost 4 for 27, including the run out of Brooke, whose scintillating 186 in the first innings had helped push the game on despite more than 50 overs being lost to rain over the first 2 days. Ollie Robinson, the night watcher, was dismissed in the third over of the morning, a top-edged swipe across the line ending up in the hands of slip. With Ollie Pope beaten twice in his first 3 balls from Saudi, England looked to Ben Duckett for assurance, but the opener added just 10 runs to his overnight total before reaching for a cut at Henry and thick edging behind. A quiet period followed, before New Zealand struck twice in as many balls to send another ripple of panic through the tourists. Pope had played his first authoritative shot, pulling Wagner for 4, when he opted to back cut and steer the ball straight to second slip, Tom Latham holding a sharp chance. England were 80 for 4 and that became 84 5 minutes later as Root called without realizing his back foot tap had not got through the cordon, Bracewell swooping from third slip to fire in a throw to Tom Bluntel that left Brock well short, and continuing his jog straight back to the dressing room. England under Stokes have made a habit of running towards the danger, but this was too literal an interpretation of the mantra. Thank you so much. If you like my channel, please give your golden support to me, like, share and subscribe for more cricket updates. Be safe, be happy.